In this quiz, we look at history trivia. 1. What ancient civilization built the pyramids at Giza? The ancient Egyptians. 2. Who was the first president of the United States? George Washington. In which year did World War II end? 1945. 4. Which wall divided East and West Berlin until 1989? The Berlin Wall. 5. Who discovered America in 1492 for Spain? Christopher Columbus. 6. Which ship famously sank on its maiden voyage in 1912? The Titanic. 7. Which empire was ruled by Julius Caesar before it became an empire under Augustus? The Roman Republic. 8. What was the name of the pandemic that swept Europe in the 14th century? The bubonic plague. Which country gifted the Statue of Liberty to the United States? France. Which famous document was signed in England in 1215? The Magna Carta. 11. Who was the British Prime Minister during most of World War II? Winston Churchill. 12. Which civilization created Machu Picchu? The Inca. 13. What year did the French Revolution begin? 1789. 14. Who was known as the Maid of Orleans? Joan of Arc. 15. Which city was buried by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in AD 79? Pompeii. 16. Which explorer completed the first circumnavigation of the Earth? Ferdinand Magellan. 17. Which war was fought between the North and South regions of the United States? The American Civil War. 18. Which queen ruled England during the Spanish Armada in 1588? Queen Elizabeth I. 19. Who was the first emperor of Rome? Augustus. 20. Which Chinese dynasty built much of the Great Wall seen today? the Ming dynasty. 21. Which event began on October the 29th, 1929, after a major stock market crash? The Great Depression. 22. Which famous nurse became known as the Lady with the Lamp? Florence Nightingale. 23. What was the name of the trade route linking China with Europe? The Silk Road. 24. Which US president issued the Emancipation Proclamation? Abraham Lincoln. 25. Which Soviet leader introduced policies called glasnost and perestroika? Mikhail Gorbachev. 26. Which battle in 1066 led to the Norman conquest of England? The Battle of Hastings. 27. Who wrote the 95 Theses in 1517? Martin Luther. 28. Which treaty officially ended World War I? The Treaty of Versailles. 29. Which ancient wonder was located in Alexandria, Egypt? The Lighthouse of Alexandria. 30. Who was the Carthaginian general who crossed the Alps with elephants? Hannibal. 31. Which king was executed during the English Civil War? Charles I. 32. What was the code name for the Allied invasion of Normandy? Operation Overlord. 33. Which Russian royal family was overthrown during the Russian Revolution? The Romanov family. 34. Which Portuguese explorer first sailed around the southern tip of Africa? Bartolomeu Dias. 35. Which empire was ruled by Suleiman the Magnificent? The Ottoman Empire. 36. Which treaty ended the 30 Years' War in 1648? The Peace of Westphalia. 37. What was the capital of the Byzantine Empire? Constantinople. 38. Which English king had 6 wives? Henry VIII. 39. Which civilization developed cuneiform writing? The Sumerians. 40. Who was the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt? Cleopatra the Seventh. 41. Which battle marked Napoleon Bonaparte's final defeat? The Battle of Waterloo. 42. Which document begins with the words, "We the people"? The United States Constitution. 43. Which emperor legalized Christianity in the Roman Empire through the Edict of Milan? Constantine the Great. 44. Which civilization built the city of Tikal? The Maya. 45. Which explorer reached India by sea in 1498? Vasco da Gama. 46. Which battle is widely regarded as the turning point on the Eastern Front during World War II? The Battle of Stalingrad. 47. Which medieval conqueror founded the Mongol Empire? Genghis Khan. 48. What was the name of the first successful English colony in North America? Jamestown. 49. Which empire fell after the capture of Constantinople in 1453? The Byzantine Empire. 50. Which space mission first landed humans on the moon in 1969? Apollo 11. How well did you do? Tune in for more quizzes.